Hi, and welcome to the Business Growth Spotlight, where we shine the light and talk with business leaders from all over the world to share their insights and expertise so we can all grow together. I am your host, Heidi, and I'm the co-founder of the Spotlight to Scale Accelerator, where we drive revenue for companies by making sure they are seen as the authority and go-to expert in their industry versus just another product or service. Today, I am excited to share with you my special guest, Miriam Chickering with NextGenU.org. Welcome, Miriam, to our show, and thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here.
It's such a pleasure to be with you, Heidi. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, to kick us off, Miriam, can you start out by telling us about you, what you do, and a little bit about your journey?
Sure. So, my name is Miriam Chickering. I'm a nonprofit executive with over 10 years of experience in the sector. About 11 years ago, I founded a nonprofit called Nurses International, and now we provide nursing education to nurse educators and nursing students in over 150 countries. And then about 5 years ago, I came in contact with Dr. Erica Frank, the founder of NextGenU.org, and I became initially the director of volunteer services, then the COO, and then the CEO. And I've been the CEO for about 4.5 years at NextGenU.
Wow, thank you for sharing all of that. So, what inspired the creation of NextGenU, and what is the overarching mission behind providing free, globally accessible education?
I think there's a core belief that education is a human right, and that education in a lot of places is inaccessible, and it's not just. And so if we can correct that, if we can reduce human suffering by training health workers and humanitarians all around the world,
Mm.
giving them the education that they need, that's a high quality, competency based, in alignment with global standards, and then they can in turn use that to reduce human suffering, I think that's a win for everyone.
Absolutely. So let's talk about technology because that is a big thing. And with you offering this amazing product and service, what innovative approaches or technologies are you using to deliver high quality education at scale with how you're doing it?
I think it's really a mix of kind of old school, being kind to people, taking care of your network. A lot of our work depends on our volunteers, and then
Mm.
really leveraging everybody's efforts with artificial intelligence and the latest innovative tools that come out. So we always have time in our schedules for innovation blocks. I have an innovation block on my calendar every Friday where I meet with select team members and review whatever is the latest technology coming out and looking at how that can enhance our nonprofit business. Because even if you're a nonprofit, you're still a business.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You still need to be able to get the funding you need and keep up with the latest technologies in order to provide quality service to the people that you want to serve.
Exactly.
So, what trends are you seeing that are shaping the future of online education, and how is NextGenU positioning itself to lead in this evolving space?
I think there's several important pieces here. Understanding your audience is absolutely key.
Mm.
So, for example, when we're training, we're creating materials to train doctors or nurses who are in a university. That material is going to look very different than what we're creating to train frontline humanitarian responders in an active conflict zone. And so one of the things that we've been researching is microlearning and creating microlearning that people can do on their phones without an internet connection and really get value with 3 to 5 minutes of learning. When
Mm.
you can break it down in small pieces, even people who have quite a bit of stress, they can still learn. And then providing that information at the right time, right when they need it, right when they can use it, is absolutely key. So I think that right now, when you say innovation, everyone thinks about artificial intelligence, and I'll get to that in a second because
Yeah.
we certainly are using that But it's not just artificial intelligence, it's also breakthroughs in how you teach and the tools that are available to use. So being able to provide high quality education on people's phones without the internet, something that they can get in 3 to 5 minutes, has been absolutely revolutionary for humanitarian responders on the front lines.
And you said you wanted to talk about AI. Can you tell us how you're utilizing it?
Yeah, so our team's been using artificial intelligence since 2020. And those old models are so funny even to think about compared to the latest models that we're using now. We use artificial intelligence for lots of different types of things. We use it for analyzing large de-identified research databases when we're performing research.
Mm.
We use it to do content creation. We limit it with the resources that we provide, which is very key. We provide it with a template, extensive prompts, and then we have high quality review processes in place to ensure the material is accurate, which is extremely important with artificial intelligence. We use it to do preliminary grading on student assignments. And we use it to do a lot of analysis, even analyzing calls for grants and contracts and all of those kinds of things. Um, I think I saved several $1,000s the other day. I used it to generate a licensing contract, sent that off to the attorneys. They were able to clean it up in like an hour and 15 minutes. So
Wow.
we really saved ourselves from billable hours. I didn't tell them how I generated the initial draft.
That's our
Um,
secret. We won't tell anybody.
yeah, don't tell. But we have found that in some cases, artificial intelligence can reduce our inputs by
Mm.
sometimes 100 times, not
Wow.
100%, 100 times.
Wow.
Um, and sometimes it's a lot less. Sometimes it's only 8 times. We put together a preliminary grading bot, and we had one of our PhD prepared professors was grading papers, and I asked him, "Is the bot helping you?" And he's like, "No, it's terrible." I'm like, "Well, how long did it take you to do the grading before the bot?" And he said, "2 hours." How long is it taking you now? 20 minutes. I'm like, I
Wow.
think the bot's helping.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And so you have to really be careful to pay attention and qualify with time and really good measurement to get a sense of how much AI is helping because a lot of times you can't use what it gives you the first time. It's really just a draft. You have to think of it at this point like a very smart graduate assistant. You're not going to just send what a graduate assistant gives you straight to publication. You're going to do your review.
Mm.
So I think that when we look at it like that, like a really great assistant, and then we have plenty of experts who are qualified doing those final reviews, that's when you get the leverage and that's when you can use it safely.
We can hear from you how efficient it helps you and more productive it helps your team. My question is, when it comes to the gradings, for example, is there a learning curve as far as the AI goes or your team goes, as far as making sure that it's accurate?
Both. There's a learning curve for the bot, and there's a learning curve for the team that uses the bot. And we have to retrain the bot periodically
Mm.
on best case examples. And we have to make sure that it's only used as a preliminary review. It can never be a final review, or it can never actually assign the grades. It's just an assistant, just like a teaching assistant
Right.
that's how you would use it. We did a project recently just to demonstrate scale. We did $1 million project with the Global Partnership for Education and the International Development Research Center Canada with the Knowledge and Innovation Exchange. And as part of this project, we were planning to create 12 science lessons. Well, then the next model came out. We ended up creating over 600 science lessons. We created 52 textbooks, workbooks in three languages. We worked across 3 countries, and so it was absolutely tremendous the amount of output that we are able to give to our funders because of implementing and utilizing these technologies responsibly.
Wow. So we've talked about AI, we've talked about technology and everything that's coming up because it's AI is going to be evolving, technology is going to be evolving, and I'm really impressed with all you have done because I haven't heard. I've been speaking with a lot of companies, and I haven't heard them using the AI like you're using it, which is really incredible. So kudos to you. And so let's talk about now the people that you serve and all the good that you're doing for them. How does NextGen address barriers to education, particularly in underserved or low income communities?
Yeah, that's always top of mind for us.
Mhm.
So some of these barriers are really quite dramatic, and we can't do it alone. So we partner with organizations that can help us, that have the technology to allow us to provide offline learning, that we hire extensively in the countries in which we work, because those are the people that are best able to navigate active conflict zones. So we're very used to operating in active conflict zones. We're used to operating in places where internet access is intermittent at best. And so I think that when you're looking at how do you create equity, that's a question that it takes a network of committed organizations working together towards a goal. You're going to have technical expertise, you're going to have subject matter expertise, and then you're going to have implementation expertise. And so we work with partners on the ground, we work with technology companies, we work with UN agencies and other large NGOs to really get the job done.
Wow. I have another question in relation to that. So, who benefits the most from NextGenU's resources, and how are you reaching and engaging with learners across different regions and demographics?
At NextGenU, we have four core initiatives. We have Public Health U, and that initiative, we actually facilitate a master's in public health program, a master's in education for health professionals, and a PhD in global health.
Hmm.
In at PHU, we have about 100 students from over 50 different countries. Almost every single one of them is actively practicing in public health or global health. And so the effects of the education that we provide to them really ripple out because they're all impacting hundreds or thousands of lives, every single one of our students.
Mhm.
So that's been really incredible. We couldn't do it without our partners like Euclid and FPD, who actually confer the degrees. We facilitate the programs and our partners confer those degrees. That's just one of our initiatives.
I was going to actually ask you, what role do partnerships with organizations, governments, or educational institutions play in your mission?
It's so important to partner with local organizations. So it's the word local. So it's global, but it's local.
Yeah.
So, we're working globally, but what does that really mean? That means dozens of very tight local partnerships. So it's really important that all the education that we're providing meets local regulatory standards, that those professionals can get their licensing that's required wherever they live, and that they can really practice with excellence and integrity in their
Mm.
system. And so we work very hard to make all of that happen.
How does NextGenU sustain your operations since you're providing free education? How are you able to sustain everything that you have inside of your organization?
Well, we work very hard. We take in a lot of contracts where we build content for large NGOs, and then we can use that to create more nursing courses or more medical courses. We also have a large investment portfolio that provides about half of our operational funds. So
Mm.
we rely on that investment portfolio. It's a little different than an endowment, but very much like an endowment. And then about half of that we just bring in through licensing, service, contracts, grants, etc.
What are some of the biggest challenges, I'm curious, that you've faced, and what have you done? How have you overcome them?
We have over 3,000 institutions around the world that use our content. Over half of US medical schools have at least one learner in one of our courses. Learning how to create content for an audience of such tremendous variety is a big challenge.
Mhm.
And the way that we do that is, again, that localized approach where we want to create for one cohort first and then extrapolate from that to a global cohort.
Incredible. I love everything you're doing. I think it's amazing. My final question for you, Miriam, is what strategies have you used to grow? And what advice would you give others who are looking to grow in the education industry as well?
Just keep saying yes.
That is
Like
so
I
good.
said yes to you today. I think keep saying yes, over deliver, under promise. So we talk a lot internally about no fail contracts. So we only sign a contract when we're 100% sure we can deliver every single thing on it. And right from the get-go, I already have in my mind how we're going to deliver an extra 25%, an extra 50% on top. We want to leave every single partner ecstatic. If they're a big organization, if they're not fighting over who gets to work with us internally, we haven't done our job.
Ah,
And so it's really important for us to over deliver. And we can do that because we have an incredible team, and that team comes from all over the planet. So I think being aware that diversity in a team, it's not just a talking point. It
mhm.
doesn't mean that you're not looking at merit. It means that you're really getting the best you can get for your team. And that's what we provide every day.
Yeah, wow. I'm hearing a common theme amongst all of you incredible people that I'm speaking with, leaders, is that it's team. A lot of it's team. We have to have a good culture and a good team to sustain and grow. And I love that you said over deliver. If they're not fighting, I love that KPI, that metric. If they're not fighting over us, then we haven't done our job. That's something I have not heard, Miriam. I think that's a phenomenal one because if you want to provide a good service, a lot of your continuations come from referrals. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would say almost all of our clients are repeat clients. They're not really clients, they're partners, they're family.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. They're partners, they're family. Oh, well, thank you so much, Miriam. How can we get in touch with you or connect with
Well,
you?
you can contact us at info@nextgenu.org. You can contact me via LinkedIn, Miriam Chickering. I'll come right up on Google search. And you can check out our website, nextgenu.org.
Yes, definitely go to nextgenu.org, go to LinkedIn. We will have and check and connect with Miriam Chickering. We will also have all of your contact information and all of your links, Miriam, inside the show notes. So if you're driving while you're listening to us and you can't go check it out right now, come back and check out our show notes and make sure you connect with her. She is such a lovely woman, a sweet lady, and she would love to connect with you and chat with you. Miriam, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I'm really grateful for your time. And this was super last minute. She practices what she preaches. She said yes. We literally were in contact with her today. She said yes, and we were able to make it happen. So I'm so grateful that you said yes. And I think that's a powerful takeaway. Say yes. It might be a little uncomfortable sometimes, but you never know where it's going to lead you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Heidi.
Thank you, Miriam. And thank you for listening. If you feel your business is blending in and you're ready to grow your visibility and be seen as the expert in your space and scale to the next level, then grab our Spotlight to Scale blueprint to get started at spotlighttoscale.com/blueprint. Again, go connect with Miriam Chickering on LinkedIn. Also, you can go check out the website at nextgenu.org. Thank you again, Miriam, for being here with me today and for saying yes. And thank you for listening. And we will see you on the next episode of the Growth Business Spotlight.